Hey, it's Bill Baker here with another tech tip, and today we're going to talk about how to restring your guitar that has a Floyd Rose. Very important. You must do this properly and practice, and don't be afraid to do it. Of course, the first thing you're going to do, let's pretend that this guitar, I'm using this guitar as an example, pretend it has all 6 strings on it. Remember, like when we were kids, we would pretend? Well, first thing you got to do is undo your nut clamp. Just take them all off, set them aside, don't lose them, lay a towel out. I've got my Elvis towel here. Make sure you have your wrench. This is very important. Make sure it's the proper size and fits your bridge. Okay? Now, the best advice I can give you for your first time, and really for any time, is do one string at a time. Don't take them all off, because if you do, they don't make these things anymore. It's a tremolock, and you would sit it under the bridge, and especially if your bridge would float, this would hold it in place. Well, the bridge that we're working with today rests against the body Van Halen style. There's no pulling back, it's only down, dive, forward. This is like a George Lynch model guitar. So, of course I already have the 2 outer strings on there. Let's just kind of ignore that. When you take your new string, right, you see that wrap that's on there. You know how they make a string, they kind of wind it around, they wrap it. Or we're going to cut a bit past the wrap. I'm shooting this with one hand, so bear with me. You can cut in about that far. You see where my little cutter is? That's about how far in we're going to cut, because we only want the smooth part of the string. So when you cut that away, you're going to be left with just a smooth string. Loosen up the saddle. I'm just trying to get some light in there and make sure we can see what's going on here. The way a Floyd Rose works, it's a lock here and a lock up here. There's a little block inside the saddle. This screw pushes against the block and it holds the string inside the saddle like a vise. When you loosen that screw, the little block inside comes back and loosens up. You want to take the string and insert it into the saddle. Push it all the way down to the bottom. And here's another tip for you. If it's an older guitar, the best thing you can do is loosen that and try to clean out all the old pieces of string. And if you got to be careful, if you turn the guitar upside down and the screw is back, these blocks will fall out, you'll lose them. So try to do it on a nice clean surface with some towels, so if anything falls out you don't lose it and you don't get frustrated. And like I said, do one at a time. So I'm going to put in this A string. Now since I'm doing this with one hand, normally I would hold this with my left hand, and with my right hand I would tighten the string in here. Well, so you get the idea what I'm doing. Now, an important tip is you want the string to be in the center. You don't want it to be to the left or the right. You want it to be in the middle, because it lays forward and it comes in contact right here in the forward part of the saddle, up on the top. But just for example, when you tighten this up, snug it pretty good, but don't tighten it with all your might, because these saddles can break. Alright? What you're going to do is take your string, now again I'm doing this with one hand, and bring it up and string it in the methods that I've shown you, 3 fingers. I know it doesn't matter because we're going to lock it, but you know what, neatness counts. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm sorry it's out of focus, but there's my 3-finger wrap right there. When you do one string at a time, best way to do it, especially if your tremolo floats, is to get the string in tune, stretch it out, then go on to the next one. When you're completely done and you have all 6 strings on, then at that point you can put your locks back on. Snug them up. Again, don't tighten it with all your life, just snug it good. Then tune it, see where you're at. Of course you're probably going to be out of tune. These are your fine tuners. Especially on this guitar where it's resting against the body, I don't have to worry about it pulling back. It's a lot easier to work with. It'll come in tune faster. When they float, that's when you got to go back and forth and that's when you gotta mess with your springs in the back. I got 2 springs back there right now. When it floats, you want it to balance. You want it to sit level with the top of the body. That'll be for a future video. Right now I'm just quickly showing you how to restring. You tune everything up, and of course you use these fine tuners. If it's way out of tune, don't be afraid to unlock it and retune it, then lock it again, then go back to your fine tuners, tune it up, play it, stretch it out. You might have to unlock it again, but it takes a little time, a little patience, a little practice to restring. But the most important things to remember: don't over tighten with all your might. Snug it up good, make sure the string is all the way in there. Cut away the wrap. You don't want to put the wrapped part of the string in there. It just doesn't bite that good. You don't want it resting along the top. It affects the intonation. Well, I hope I've gotten you started and you're not afraid to restring your guitar. Bill Baker here on a windy Saturday afternoon, and take care.